guys? Welcome to the Hydeout. Another week, another episode. We're glad to bring you content on all sides of the realms. Anime. What do we got? We got some MCU news. We got some also DCU news.
Yeah.
So, and then last but not least, we'll be talking the Loki's episode 1. And then we're also going to be talking about the last episode, season finale of One Punch Man. If we get to it. So, again, we try to, keep it streamlined, make sure we're not, taking too much people's time, but also still having a good time while bringing you all the good stuff. So, but first,
we get distracted quite
we definitely go on some rambling, side character after side character, director, then movie, then, so yeah. And then the big loop around.
There we go. Someone just had to bring it back.
Yeah. So it was it's good times. I enjoy it. So, but the first piece of news, again, we'll just cover the news first. First piece of news is they are planning on doing a special presentation, kind of what they did for Werewolf by Midnight, right?
Yeah. Werewolf by Midnight, I think it was.
Something like that. And then it's going to be for the Man-Thing. So it's the Man-Thing that's in the maze that they're let out into. I think. Did you watch that presentation one?
I haven't watched it.
You never did?
No.
Oh, it's actually really good. They're actually talking about going into that kind of
like dark,
characters. Like
there
were people speculated Dracula, but they for sure called Man-Thing out. But Man-Thing is actually going to happen.
If they're going to speculate Dracula, I mean, it would make sense with the Blade movie that was talked about. But I think right now it's canceled.
Oh yeah, it's so far pushed out or something like that it's like it don't even have a date no more. Yeah.
But if they do introduce Dracula, that would be a good setup.
I mean, again, it would be a good setup. I think so. So. It's very upsetting. It's so upsetting with everything that happened. Again, we had COVID. COVID threw off all those timelines and movie, setups, and then we have this, the writer strike.
Strikes.
I think they haven't even finalized it or anything. I want to say they.
As far as I know, they haven't finalized anything.
The documents or whatever, but they had talked about that it's over. Yeah. So. But yeah, if y'all missed that, it was a little bit of talk about that last time. So we're hoping again that the strike has ended. That way we can get all these movies rolling, and especially like we said just now, the Blade movie, all that. So, but all this is now confirmed because it's back.
Yeah.
So again, one of the James Gunn quotes that we talked about was, nothing was confirmed because of the fact that of the writer's strike.
Yeah.
Right? So
nothing could be confirmed. Nothing could be suggested.
Yeah.
Because at that point there was no leaks or anything that could be done.
Yeah, it was all speculation.
Yeah.
So, but I'll let you. You want to take the next piece of news or?
Yeah, I'll take it. James Gunn has confirmed 4 actors to reprise their roles, and there will be John Cena as Peacemaker. Help me with that name.
Zolo Maridueña. Zolo Maridueña as Blue Beetle. So that was one of the recent ones was Blue Beetle.
Yeah.
Go for it.
We have Viola Davis as Waller. And as far as I know, she's one of the few people in Suicide Squad that wasn't changed.
Yeah,
either.
Stay consistent.
Yeah, that was really cool. Honestly, she plays the part really well.
Yeah.
I can understand why they keep her.
She's actually hitting it right on the nail,
Yes.
and that's what I liked about it. So she's ruthless, doesn't care, can carry that persona as well. You know what I mean? So it's really really good. So. We have a comment. His
Watson Jr.
Blue Beetle was better than I thought it would be.
And that is the truth.
We actually rated it a lot higher than
I think it was
Flash.
at least 1.5 points higher than the Flash.
Yeah, because even graphic wise, it was way on par. He had described it before I had seen it, and when I went to go see it, he made a point. The way the suit transformed on the body was so much cleaner.
Yeah.
It didn't look, graphic-y. It didn't look, off. You know what I mean?
And I mean, it's a much better thing. It's kind of hard to outdo the fake babies that you have falling out of the sky. So
the fake babies,
no,
like
that alone pushed Flash from anywhere decent to like that.
And then the Chronosphere,
Yeah,
whatever,
Chrono
Ball, like it was just like all those characters were, you know, wax characters.
Oh,
like,
speaking
you know
of which, I actually recently saw the footage of Cage, Nicolas Cage. The Superman.
Oh, the actual footage.
Yeah, I actually like recently saw the footage and somebody let it out and he saw him talking all dressed up and everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, when was he was supposed to be before Henry Cavill, I believe, right? I was like, he kind of looked weird with the long hair and everything. For the
I think he would probably have cut it. I think he was finishing a movie probably with long hair, and then he was just jumping into that next suit. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that was a trip.
I saw the footage. I was like, "Whoa!" Dude. I was like, "It is true."
Yeah, it was interesting to see because of that. It was like in a hotel room, just like all these, he's in a suit. He's like moving around, so it's pretty weird.
Testing out how.
Yeah. But again, why not use the footage? Why not try to edit that into the film? They did another CGI.
And then Blue Beetles was so much more. It looked organic to it, like the way it would melt onto him, and even I feel like the clothes burning was actually like a practical effect. Like they had
the way it burned,
because it looked like it was legit. Like it might have been a practical effect because I know they have stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, Blue Beetle was way
interesting. I wonder if they did use that as a practical effect instead of
I think
digital effect.
The only thing is though, you got to be careful with the actors. That's the only issue about certain things like that.
Oh, the pyros.
Yeah, the pyros stuff and all that. But yeah, Blue Beetle was really well done for it to score so low.
Again, it was during that strike time, and then they couldn't promote their movie. We talked about it where he literally got in trouble for standing next to his sister, and he had to show that he wasn't the one that posted it. It was the sister, you know what I mean? And it was just so much went into that effect. I think so it just was very upsetting on that part. You know what I mean? So,
I'm glad to hear that they are continuing that story in some way, or at least he's not going away. For real, definitely, because he played a really good character. Like his overall acting
growth in that in that film,
and his awkwardness didn't feel forced. Like the comedy, that comedy was so on.
Just organic. So there wasn't forced the one that you gave me, the scene where they were in the bedroom or whatever.
That one killed. That was the nail of the coffin. I was like, this is good.
This is it. This is comedy.
I was like, you could tell they did not force any of this stuff right now. Ragnarok's comedy was pretty good, but even then, sometimes you could feel the forcedness of it. But the Blue Beetle comedy just felt like you were hanging out with a family member. Legit walked in on them about to try to kiss somebody or something. It was good. It was good.
So I agree on that 100%. So what was that?
They said it might be the Mexican.
It was Mexican director, Mexican themed movie.
Yeah,
so.
I love how they did the Mexican music.
They changed them to Spanish music.
The remix of it.
I like that too. I did. It was a pretty good remix. I think I caught one and I did. Bree didn't catch it, but I can't even remember now. But last but not least, thank you. See, we go on a rant all the way down. That spiel. Last but not least, Freddie Stroma is continued as well. So he'll be Adrian Chase. He was the vigilante in the Peacemaker. Vigilante. So he's continued. So again, John Cena, Zola Maridueña, Viola Davis, and Freddie Stroma. Yep. So those are confirmed by James Gunn. For sure going on to the DCU.
Yes.
So
his DCU.
Or DCU. It was the DCEU. Now it's the DCU.
So it is what it is.
A whole other story. Another show.
But that right there kind of goes into some of the news that I had just talked to you about too. Is that the main seven, the Justice League people, as far as what James Gunn was saying, all of them are going to be recasted. So that's quite a lot of people. Like, that's a lot of people to replace, let alone, like, some of the people that people I know are, like, fighting for. Like, Ben Affleck as Batman, I personally wanted to hate him. Really well done. I'm not completely mad at it. I kind of would like to see him come back.
Could you see it in the Batman Beyond perspective as old?
That's what I was hoping. I was like, if they do bring him back, do that, because that would be really cool.
That would be dope.
Because that
right?
Batman Beyond, the freaking cartoon, oh, that was cool. That was really good, and I would totally like to see.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that
at all.
But then, I know a lot of people are in love with Gal Gadot and Wonder Woman, and there's been on and off about her reprising the role, then not reprising the role, then getting her own third movie, and then not. And so that's constantly been a thing. And a lot of people are upset with Cavill losing Superman along with The Witcher. So a lot of people are like,
because he, out of all of them, is more comic inclined. Like,
yeah,
apparently he's gamer heart by heart.
Yeah,
like,
he,
so.
I know at least for The Witcher, he did read the Witcher series. And he was a fan of it, which is why he, like, during the Witcher stuff, I think the first season he was kind of like a little upset with the way they wanted him to go. So in the second season, I think he like pushes his way out more and starts encompassing the books more. And I know with the Superman movies and stuff, he does want to enact more of the Superman stuff and everything, but
Warner Brother had too much control.
Yeah,
so that's upsetting. Again, you got these people that truly believe in the comic, lore, the character itself,
like, the history. And I'm like,
I think they said that about Andrew Garfield. Like, he went above and beyond to make sure he like enveloped the character. I think, in all honesty, his wittiness that he brought into the character was more on par to the comics than.
See, I have to agree with you on some point with it. Yes, not recently. This is like a year or two ago. Somebody had posted up something of the three: McGuire, Holland, and Garfield. And they're like, what was it? Garfield was the best Spider-Man of the three.
Spider-Man?
Yeah, like actual Spider-Man, but Holland was the best Parker out of the three.
Okay.
And Toby was like middle ground. And I was like, I do have to kind of agree with that. Like, Andrew Garfield was not the best Parker. Like, he was probably dead last for me. But his Spider-Man, I could not take anything away from. Like, it was really well done. His, like you said, his wittiness, his like comments, how quick-witted,
and his lankiness, right?
He's kind of
supposed to be long and lanky. Yeah.
And then on top of that too, like the way they had him fight, really good. Like, really well done. Like, he was probably the best Spider-Man that of the three.
Mm-hmm.
But then the Parker version was Holland, and I could see that too. Like, he was the more like engineering and all that, like nerdy, but like not too much, because the other two kind of like didn't play too nerdy or like too like.
Yeah, I think I know what you're saying. Yeah. And Andrew did a little part, but when he was trying to figure out his dad's book or whatever, that part I could see the brain in it, you know. So okay, I didn't know that they gave Tom Holland over Toby. Yeah, but Toby's both, like you said. Toby's both. Okay.
Yeah, he was like the middle ground for each, but then the other ones, ranked first and last in the other categories. But yeah, man. I mean, like, if you're gonna have somebody develop into this character, like actually learn them and everything, I think you should honestly let them get the reins of that character.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you let some people go off on their own thing for a while, and they're like,
Love and Thunder.
Yeah. And then you get like Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool. He did his own thing. Everybody loved him. For the most part, if you were to do that with people who are have the knowledge of the comics, they'll probably kill it. Like, all honesty, they probably would do really well.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. I think the same. I mean, they would carry the torch right. You know what I mean? They wouldn't let the flame die out. So. I don't know. Again, and then to have it, what they did with, what's his name did, Rock did, went above all the heads, brought Henry Cavill back, and it's just like in this whole cluster crap of he's gonna be Superman, and James Gunn's like, sorry, like I don't know what he was doing.
He said, nope. As a matter of fact, walk out the door with him.
Exactly.
He was like, nah.
He's like, you ain't even gonna be Black Adam. Matter of fact,
He's like, we recasting all of y'all.
Smooth, but not smooth enough.
Yeah,
Keep drinking your tequila. So what was that
keep
called?
it as real as it is. Henry is Superman, bros. As much as Chris is Thor, as much as Jason is Aquaman, how can you not make him Superman?
But now again, what he's saying on that news, they're recasting everyone.
Everybody's.
But I've heard there is, again, we don't bring you news that's not confirmed, but there is reportedly a talk about Jason Momoa being recasted as Lobo.
I would prefer him as Lobo.
So,
Granted, don't get me wrong, he is a good Aquaman, looks wise. Like, I don't really care for the Aquaman character.
He brought the other. It gives back, that rocker one, instead of the white with blonde hair, so, but yeah, so Lobo, so it's literally Jason might be Lobo, when they use the right photos and the right, images, they do look pretty good,
they look
so
really well.
I would take him, after his, seeing a little bit of his comedic chops, on what movie he's like a reindeer, like a half reindeer goat thing, and he's going in these realms with this girl. Oh my god. Nonetheless, it's a movie. It's a thing. But he in that movie had some comedic chops in there, so I can see it because again, Lobos is a dark, but yet has those like
he has
that dark sense of humor. You know what I mean? So I think he can portray that image.
I could see him being Lobo.
Yeah. So
but I have to agree with his Watson Jr. Like it's not. Like, Henry Cavill is Superman. A lot of people are going to be, Reeves is Superman because they grew up with him. I'm like, Reeves portrayed Superman for a while, and he was good at it. But Henry Cavill encompassed Superman. He got the build for it. He, knows the character.
Yeah.
Like, this character has, it's like 70 years of history behind him. And for you to not...
What was the new guy again?
Who? What new guy?
The new actor for Superman.
I cannot remember. We discussed him too.
David Cornsweet.
Yeah.
David Cornsweet. I mean, again, there's that photo of them where it shows Henry Cavill and he's all like scruffed up, his hair's not even combed or anything like that, and it shows like, hey, this was what he looked like before he took in the actual work to get there, you know what I mean? So I feel I'm just glad he's scrubbing the universe. Speaking
of which, that is what he just said right now. He said if they're scrubbing the whole crew, I guess I'm cool with the restart. He's like, DC is in shambles. The Snyder Cut of Justice League should have been the way to go all along, in my opinion. And I have to agree with you. I nearly sat the whole 4 hours for that damn Snyder Cut.
I did.
Yeah.
And then actually another one that I saw is they said that WB Warner Brothers actually regrets releasing the Zack Snyder Cut.
Yeah, because it was so good.
Yeah, I mean, they were just like, you now can't wipe that from our minds. Yeah. I was like, this is what you took from us?
Yes.
Like, this is what you took from us? How dare you? Like, you know what I mean?
Dude, for real. Like, the Snyder Cut was by far the best.
He was going in the right direction.
That was the best thing. And then showing the Flash being able to do the time loop for, like, that 1 second or something that he did. Like, that was... It all played out really good. Like, the Snyder Cut... Honestly... The Snyder Cut is probably a good 9.5. Everything else is below it. every other movie since then has not touched the Snyder Cut.
Nope. Again, they are scrubbing it up. They're washing it down. They're like, this is again, those 4 characters are the only ones going in. We're getting all, new Lois Lane, a new Superman, new Batman. They haven't casted. What else? New Wonder Woman.
Cyborg,
Everything.
Flash.
So he's going hard. Green Lantern is Guy Gardner, so it's not even your typical, Hal Jordan or anything like that. What's the other name? John Stewart.
Yeah.
So again, James Gunn's mind and his comic. I don't want to say genius. Like he how far he goes for the comics, because again we talked about Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's his comic knowledge.
There you go, comic knowledge.
Very in depth, and he does his work. He does his homework for it.
So again, I have confidence. So those are that is the news. There was sub news into the sub news. Hey,
but that's what we're here for, right? For interaction.
Yeah,
so.
bringing it in, and again, again, that's what we wanted. Interaction, letting y'all know, how y'all think and what we see of, that. So, it's been good. It's good.
Yeah.
So, but now, guys, if you have not watched the Loki season 2 episode 1. This is the part where you drop off. We are going to discuss the first episode, review it, how we thought about it, what there might be, and some theories. And so, you can tune back in later. Again, if you don't mind spoilers, stay with us. Whatever the case,
I was gonna say, dude, I'm like, if you guys want like an honest review, some spoilers and everything, to see if you guys are up for it, I'm like, stay with it. Let's go.
So if you are
you
like
guys
us,
have like a week already. So
we've talked about this. No mercy. We give y'all a week. That's as much as we give you.
Unless of course one of us has to call out to, then you might get an extra.
Yeah, then the extra week. but yeah. So we'll be talking Loki right now. So Loki season 2, episode 1 went with a runtime of 45 minutes. Right?
It said it right. That was the original 45 minutes. I think it was 50 almost.
I think it was something like that too. That's why I was like, I think it was somewhere on there. But again, credits and all that nonsense.
Yeah.
So, woo, man, it started off hard. Like that first scene of like that slow mo. You get the Kang out there on the statue, and he's just like running. Ooh, man, like that, and then he's like, Morbius, it's me.
Yeah.
That's just like,
he's like,
I don't know you. Oh, bro.
I love how it picked up right ended.
Yeah.
Like there was like maybe like a few minutes of like, okay, he got to run away, but like that, okay, we're back in it. Like my wife and my wife wants to watch it. Wants to watch season 2. She hasn't watched it yet.
Oh, okay.
But because she wants to rewatch season 1. So that way she can remember how it went. And I was like, the way season 2 picks up, it's just plugged right in. They just went.
You need to watch the last episode.
Yeah, you just really need to watch the last. They legit like freaking super glued it, tied it to the end. Like it's a continuation.
Yeah. It's like a red Lego and a red Lego, and just put it together, and it looks like one big old Lego. Like
they did really good with the seamless tie-in.
Yeah, and because of what we were talking about, like this last, few movies were like, where does this fall? Like, you have to legitimately Google where this movie fell in the timeline, because it was just like, this one's here, Shang-Chi here, this one here.
What ties up to this one, and like, like the Marvels is supposed to be Secret Invasion with WandaVision, with the other girl one, I forget what that was.
Miss Marvel.
Like, I was just like, like having to connect all the dots and try to be a detective now, like, it's kind of.
So with this one not having any gap time, and it just goes straight into that next one, was what I liked about it. It was Mark Brown said, "Get it, guys." Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I was looking at I was like, there's a
there's
thing,
one that I
but
don't
was like,
see.
I was like, it's not correlating.
So,
I was like, did mine glitch?
refresh.
I was for a second. I know. You'll see it. We'll see it in the post, but yeah.
That's funny. So, but yeah, so where it picked off, and then for him, again, just last ditch effort, just to hop off that ledge.
But he saw you because in the back you can actually see the thing coming.
Oh, no way!
Yeah.
You can see it like come down that way.
So that's why he jumped, because he saw it. I was like, okay.
Man, I didn't catch that.
Some stuff I actually started slow mo.
I didn't catch that. That's dope. So he just jumps off and then lands in that cart. Then this next part, I want to see if you caught on to it.
Oh.
So I didn't look it up, but I looked it up, if that makes sense. It popped up. He busts through that floor, right?
Yeah.
And Casey was there, and Casey takes off his headphones.
Yeah.
And it says something on his headphones. Did you listen to it? It said
something, be calm and something, right?
Breathe, then slowly or whatever.
Yeah.
Fun little side note. That little saying was what the same recording used that Moon Knight used to put himself to sleep, to make sure he stayed asleep or whatever. So
it's been a minute since I watched Moon Knight, so I might have to go.
It popped up as a did you know? That's why I'm saying I didn't even know till I saw it. Then I went and watched the episode, and I was like, no way.
Because I'm like, it sounded like Miss Minutes.
No, it's actually
like the headphones sounded like Miss Minutes. Like I was like, I don't know if it was because they work in the TVA, so Miss Minute, it will be understandable for them to listen to hers, you know. But I'm like, it'll be kind of crazy to have it just go into Moon Knight too. So. That's
what I'm saying. It'd be pretty crazy. So when they said that, I went and go look at it, and sure enough, it is the same tape. Yeah. So that was pretty cool when that happened, and then again, that's when we start getting the effects of the time slipping, right? He like time slips right there because he's doesn't know who he is, right?
Yeah.
And then he like time slips to the future where Casey's up on top, and he was like, Loki, like, you know.
Well, he time skips to the present because what he was at when he was running away from Mobius and everything was the past, and so when he goes back to the present timeline. And he's jumping back and forth between the past and the present. And then later on, we'll see like a future jump, which I think is only one time that he does.
Yeah, now that you're saying that might be right. So, that was just trippy. How did you think about the effect of the time slip?
It looked really cool. I thought it was really well done. And it's just funny to know that he had to do all the faces and the stretching and acting.
Yeah. How many times he had to do a face? Like how many times cut. Yeah. Oh, that'd be pretty funny. Yeah.
And they just kind of just merged them all together, and that's what it was. It was pretty cool. I think the time slipping was actually not bad at all. Like the way the CGI effects was.
Again, I haven't had any complaints so far. No. The city looked nice. The digital city in the back when he jumped off, everything was fine.
Speaking of which, did you see all the kings?
Yes.
They had the king statues, like the first, of course, the front one. But then when he lands, when they crash, and the thing falls, you could see the king right there. But then there's another king statue in the distance and everything. Yeah, they have them everywhere.
So I think he's gonna be a menace in this show. Honestly, I really hope they do his character justice. Not saying that they didn't do it good on Ant-Man. It was just there was so much hype from him of how big of a scary guy he is, and then he gets taken away by ants. You know what I mean? Like that's it just really killed it for me, bro. Like apparently this all telekinetic being and he gets beaten by ants. Like I don't know, bro. Like it was very upsetting. So I really hope they do this guy justice on this one here.
They better.
So
Kang he's up there. Like when you think of people that could possibly take over everything, you got Thanos, Kang, Doctor Doom, Galactus. Like you got a lot.
I really hope that they do Galactus justice if they bring him in. Multi-series, multi-movie, build up.
Oh, they need a multi-movie build-up for that. Don't ever not like give me a multi-movie for that. Like no. Especially considering now that they're bringing the Celestials in.
Yes. Saw all that as well when they. Just so much, and so much is being pushed away because of all that happened. I mean, all right. So then after that, what happened? They're trying to figure out what's going on. B-15 and Mobius, right? They're like, between them two, trying to figure out what is happening, the branches of the timeline. She couldn't believe that their mind were wiped.
Yeah.
And they were just killing these people. You know what I mean? Like just wiping away lives that existed.
Yeah.
And then you said that dude was X3 or X2?
X5.
X5. Yeah. Like he was all pissed about the jet skis. He was all rambling on like, oh, what is this? Like, do we have lives before? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
well, that's the thing though. He is just like, it was a weird transition because he's like, oh, so this is what you're all interested in. And then he's like, anyways, and he's like, I ain't here for that. You guys are wanted at the war room and everything. But I was like, the way he transitioned was kind of like, okay, it sounded like you were concerned at first, and now you're just like, no, I'm a TVA agent first. And so I'm like,
and then when he's in the elevator, he was just like, oh, by the way, I'm sorry, like or whatever, right? It was the same guy, right?
That's the thing. I don't think it was the same dude.
It wasn't? It was another guy?
Yeah. Because I think when they get out of the elevator and they're going in the hall, right before they enter the one room, I think somebody else is walking out. Okay. And I think that's who me and you were thinking.
Okay, because that's where I was like, what? I was like, now he's apologizing?
Yeah, he's like, I was just doing my job.
Yeah. And he calls out Homegirl right off the bat, though. He's like, Renslayer owes me the apology, you know what I mean? Like, so that one, so they were going to that room, and then that's where it gets interesting. Like, they seen what happened. They saw that there's a robotic head there, and they're like still trying to push order. Like, we still need a brand, prune timelines. And it's just like, for what purpose? That's what B-15's trying to figure out. You know what I mean? Like, what do you follow? What is protocol? Like, protocol is what they said, but they aren't even they're like
we're being pulled by somebody else.
Yeah,
somebody else is pulling the strings now, and like we don't know which way it's up. We found out we're actually people from a different timeline, and we're pruning whole universes at this point.
And then, what'd you think about that little when he time slips and he's back, in that office when nobody was there, and Loki, and he pushes play on that tape.
Oh yeah.
What'd you think about that?
I was like, at that point, I couldn't tell if he was in the past or the future or what, because I was like, when I saw all the Kangs, I was like, okay, is this the future, like a new present? Is it a future? Like, what's up? And then they're like, at that moment you don't know what's going on, and I thought it was just Renslayer with freaking Kang, and I was like, dang, like, so she took over everything now. Like, now they're gonna redo the whole TV. I thought that was like them gonna redo the whole TV.
Okay.
But then it turns out that it was in the past, and she helped him somehow in some big way. She was probably instrumental to helping him conquer the other Kangs. Because Renslayer in the comics, I believe, if I'm not mistaken,
is his love interest.
It's like a love interest. So somehow or another, she plays a big portion in whatever he does. So she did something, and he's like, "Oh, you're a Marvel," and
I'm glad to have you on my team.
Have on my team and like rule with me or something. And then I'm like, so when did the TVA become a thing? Because at that point, it looked like it was just a Kang thing.
But if you remember, like in the last season, she don't know what's going on. She's just as lost. So it may be in the future.
No, at least not what I think. Because you got to remember, everybody else is getting their memories wiped. Why not her?
So he had that conversation, and then he like still backstabbed her by wiping her memory.
But put her in charge. Because she was like the final judge for everybody whenever they came into the TVA, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he wiped her memory for some reason, and then put her in in a head. But he didn't wipe everything because she knew that there was the three were fake.
No, she didn't.
I could have sworn she did.
She didn't.
I gotta rewatch it.
Yeah, she was shocked, bro. She was shocked. That's what I'm saying. Like, he would have at least let her in on the gist of the thing. But you might be right. He might have wiped it up to a certain point and then just like, hey, by the way, you're the boss. Like,
yeah.
Oh, got it. Like, and then that was it. You know what I mean? Plucked her into that. The TVA. But man, dude, when I heard that tape, that's what I thought was like, yo, homegirl figured out, it was I was thinking it was the future, and he was like, this is how we're gonna take over, for the fact that it was like you said, the new present in a way,
yeah,
you know what I mean, like so in the future to him, Loki was because of the fact that she stabbed homeboy, he who remains. And so he died. So the Nat King that she's talking to.
No, but at that point,
could have it been one of those Council of Kings? I didn't even think about that till just right now. One of those homies that came back and approached her.
What, another king?
Yeah.
Top of He Who Remains.
Yes. And so not even He Who Remains. He died. Remember. So she can only.
Oh, so you're saying it's a different future entirely?
Yeah.
So? But how can that be if? Okay, so we're gonna continue this because I'm gonna say something for the next scene when Loki time slips back into the present time with Mobius and B-15 and they're in the war council, the war council,
and he stabs
the thing.
See, that's
the
what
past. The where he was previously was the past because that wouldn't be there if it was the future.
Okay. So then,
because I'm but I know Mobius is time works differently here. So technically, in their brain, time is condensed all into the same point in the TVA. But Loki is it can't be because that crap that happened when the thing fell wasn't there when he first was here. It happened after he came back. So.
Ooh, so he's getting deeper. He's breaking down the fact that, even the time in the TVA isn't, infinite like they're making it seem.
Yeah, he's it still has consequences for everything. So that
So that tape recording was the past.
Was the past.
Okay, so then again, it goes back to this. So then he wiped her mind.
Yeah, he just wiped her. For some reason, she might have done something, said something, or he didn't.
Did something out of love, made it happen, got it done. You were a Marvel, swipe.
Yeah.
Etch a sketch.
Yeah.
Oh. I had to think about okay, so yeah.
But then with that too, it's just why did he wipe her mind if he was so happy with whatever she did? The only thing I can think of is he was either didn't trust her, or she was unreliable after that point.
That's what I'm saying. If I'm thinking a bad guy, I wouldn't have anybody on my squad on the.
Know all my details. Yeah.
Knowing all my details. It's like Batman. He that time it was that one episode where they're all in the Justice League tower, and then they're he's like, yeah, I have protocols for all of y'all. They're like, what? That's a loss of trust or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, if you don't have one for me, then
you're all idiots.
You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean. So I wouldn't give everyone my secrets. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's just the bad guy.
But he said too with Batman saying, he's my means were to incapacitate, to hold you until we could figure out something for you. It wasn't meant to kill you. Whoever took my ideas changed it to kill you. And then Superman's like, well, what about you? He's like, my protocol is the Justice League. If I ever go crazy, you guys stop me. But the only issue with that is you have your protocols for them too. So.
I can kill you if you try to kill me. That's funny. So yeah, that's crazy. I don't know. So again, for him to have that kill switch again to wipe her mind, we're good. I guess a peace of mind, not to worry about that he's gonna be turned on. You know what I mean? So.
Or like leak any information about him to anybody.
So that's what I think. So, so then what happened? So stabs the next scene. He says stabs the thing. The thing comes up. They're starting to believe him. They go into the hallway. He's there in that, showing them that like banner where it was the War of Kings.
Yeah.
And he shows them that, and then that's when he time slips, comes back. Then they had that little conversation. Is that painful? Is that, it looks
He's like,
painful.
why does it look painful? He's like, no, not too bad. They go into the elevator, and he's like, it looks horrible.
I can't do it anymore.
He's like, you said it didn't look bad. He's like, and then the good person over there in the corner, does it look better?
Oh yeah, the whole like pan to the right.
And the person in the corner is just like, like, don't get me in on this.
Okay, that was good.
I don't even know what I saw.
It was my first day today, like. So that was good. Good angle, good pan off. Like that was. I thought that was hilarious.
That was a good one.
And then this next character is Obi, but Ouroboros. Where is his actor from? Apparently, it was a big deal.
I believe he was from the Goonies.
Is he from the Goonies?
Yeah, he was the one kid in the Goonies. I know he's done other stuff, but that's the only thing I could really remember him from. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he was from the Goonies. But just seeing him come in, like the way he's talking to Mobius, he's like, "Oh, well, how you been?" And Mobius is like, yeah.
You know me?
Loki, I want to introduce you to,
Yeah. Ouroboros. My name's Ouroboros.
But Mobius calls me Obi.
Oh, Obi. That's such a good scene. It was.
He's like, it's been what, like 400 years. Yeah. But I don't know if that hinted to anything for you.
He did not? How long it's been?
Yeah.
Like he knew the time. There's no like.
There's no memory wipe for him, at all, as far as we know. This dude could recall something from 400 years ago.
Ooh.
No memory wipe.
But memory wipe to be placed though.
I don't know.
You see
Because
what I
I'm
mean?
like, the only thing is though, he's an important piece to the whole thing. Because he keeps the whole place running along with Miss Minutes. So if you memory wipe him, it could possibly have a crash on it.
Miss Minutes. Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Okay.
Finding Ohana.
No.
Encino Man. Tales of the Crypt.
Oh, Tales of the Crypt.
Nope. That's it.
I can guarantee you he was in the Goonies. Or was it?
Yes, Goonies.
Oh, okay.
Indiana Jones and the Temple.
I was going to say, or was it Indiana Jones that I'm mixing over with? But apparently I was right both times.
Yep, Indiana Jones.
Cool.
But, yeah, it was a big deal that he was in it. Apparently it's been a long time or
yeah,
something like that.
as far as I know, I think he's been out for the game for a while.
To that Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was so funny. Like that again, it goes back to the future past thing, which was I thought again was really well done. If you followed correctly, you probably have to rewatch it again, whatever. But he's goes back in the past. He tells him he needs this in the future, and he's like, I don't have that. And he's like, you have to have that. And he's like, oh. Look, I have infuser or something.
He's like, time slipping? He's like, yeah, but it's the first time I've seen it. And he's like, wait a minute, no, it's not. Like, he's like, so many years ago, somebody, like, did come in. And it was Loki, and it was cool because it was Loki time slipped into the past, talking to Obi.
Obi's memory in the future
is affected by the past thing. So then he's like, you need a temporal
or a diffuser or something like that.
Yeah. And he's like, you need a temporal aura diffuser to pull somebody out of time, and then something was going on. And he's just like, well, yeah. Loki was like, well, do you have one of those? He's like, no. And then it skips to the present time, and what's his name is like, oh, like how do you fix time skipping? He's like, you need a temporal oral diffuser, and he's like, well, do you have one of those? He's like, no. Wait a minute, I do have one. What?
Well, what do you know?
Yeah, it was so cool.
Like, I thought that was freaking funny. Like he held it down on his character. It was funny. Again, not knowing who he is, he's carrying the load right then and there. As far as again, key load. I didn't even think about it till you said it. You know what I mean? He's 400 years, knows everything, remembers everything. Worked right hand man to Miss Minutes. So Miss Minutes is key character to the last season with what was happening. So again, I think it goes back to plucked, put in, forgotten about, because he says nobody really goes down there.
Because that's the thing though. As long as it runs, nobody bothers with how it works. Like, if it's running fine, you're not going to bother. Like, you're not going to try to go down there and see how it works, right? It's running. You don't need to. Miss Minutes did whatever, and then he said every 100 years or so I would do a diagnostic on it, on the Time Weaver. And that was just a cool thing, the Time Weaver.
Oh, that was dope. That, again, being strung into like one big rope, but again, it wasn't meant for all those timelines to be going in. It was just one. Basically, one that was supposed to tie or whatever. Oh man,
that was really cool.
It was a really cool effect that they did there on that. That goes into what were the next scene, like when he reveals it all and everything. Like small hints again. Where he writes skin
with the
on there, and so then talks about the overload on the thing, because the TVA never has power surges, and that's what made him like, what power surges? Like, the only way a power surge happens is if they go to that room or whatever, opening up so many blast doors, right? They're like all those doors that had to open. And then when they get there, I was just like, again, that was such a cool sight.
That's a visual effect on that.
It did what would happen if we were there, like super bright, and then your eyes like adjusted to the light. You know what I mean? So I was like, ooh, I like that. So that was I did enjoy that. So and then all the colors, I love all the colors, all that stuff. So that's when they come up with a plan. They tell him about his skin for the second time. Like he's just like, what's better? What's life worth living if you don't got your skin? Like, at least you're alive. Yeah, at least you're still alive. That's a good way to think about it. I guess because he saw himself die and he's alive still. I don't know. Has a different side of life.
But man, no, that whole thing was really, really cool. The effects of it, like, it looked like, I mean, it's based like outer space or whatever, but it looks like it possibly, like, without that machine, it looks like something you possibly could have seen in like outer space for like, just the colors.
But where is that? That's the thing, because it was the what did they call it? The Syndicate, the Citadel at the end of time.
Yeah.
It had a loop in the background, but there was no like thing that was weaving it, solid. What I mean? So where is that machine at?
I know.
That's holding that line, together. So that was another thing. So I guess you're right. Again, space in the end of time, I guess, is where it's riding that line. So, but. So they come up with that plan, and then he time skips, right? Or
Loki time
slips into the future this time, and that's the one you're talking about. The only time that it happened, and then it went to the future.
But see, that's with the plan that they had. Obi gave Loki some type of thing that he's like, when it turns
green, reminded me of Dragon Ball radar.
Yeah, me too.
No, dude, real? Yeah.
But he was like, when it turns green, you have to prune yourself, because then you're kicked out of time. But then the diffuser thing will pull you into the time that you want. but you have to prove yourself within a few minutes of that thing turning green.
In terms of so that time is now. He's like, no, not now. Like, Mobius is ready. When Mobius is ready, then you tell
Like once it turns green, it means Mobius did what he had to do, and you have to now prune yourself. And so then he
time slip.
and he time slips, but drops the freaking time pruning thing. And now he's in the future, and he has to find another one, but everything's going into chaos at that point. Everybody's running around doing it, and you see the...
Why, though?
That's the thing with, like, it looks like the stuff is still going off. The power surge is still going on.
So he went to the future where he killed Homie?
Well, it's still the present. It was the present that he's in right now, he killed... What's his name? He killed He Who Remains. So that future that he went to, he still killed him, but he at that point we don't know if
how far in the future.
Yeah, how far he went into the future, and well, it had to be a decent amount into the future because nobody was in the blast doors.
Yeah,
and the skin was written, but Obi wasn't in there, and neither was Mobius. So how far did he jump? A couple days? A day?
Maybe. I mean, because
they don't explain the time jump for him.
Doesn't say what happened. Like if the blast, whatever. Yeah. I guess it's in a timeline that they didn't save it.
That's the thing though. Like he stays in his same timeline. He just jumps between past, present, and future. He doesn't ever leave the timeline. So the way I'm seeing it.
This got real deep, real fast.
Okay, the way I'm seeing it is like, let's say this freaking handles the timeline, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right here in the middle is where Loki, the present, is. He's jumping
where he got the plan, where he got the gun,
yeah.
the dial, and everything.
Yeah, and everything.
Okay.
So right here is where he's staying. He jumps into the past randomly, whatever. But right now he jumped into the future, but it's still on the same timeline. But he's not. What we're trying to make sure we don't know yet. Is did he jump into a different... This is a whole new timeline. Did he jump over?
Future to a different timeline.
Because we know he might have jumped just future in the same timeline. It's a different timeline. So he's like lateral jumping.
Yeah.
But not like time jumping to a different thing entirely.
Okay. That's intense.
But we don't know.
Yeah, that's what I say. That's intense.
Because as far as I know, the past ones have all been lateral. It's all been the same timeline. But the future one's the one that speculate to be a little confusing.
Okay. Yeah, so that's where I'm like, oh man. So I need to rewatch it because I think I saw it. I don't know if y'all saw it. I don't know if you saw it. Is right when he steps into the hallway to like see that elevator or the phone ringing, right?
Yeah.
There's a shadow down the hallway.
Okay.
A shadow figure. And I want to pause it again. That's what I want to go back and look. Is pause it, see who it looks like or whatever. But I saw it. I was like, oh, there was somebody there.
But the thing is, they're really good with the way they play with their silhouettes too. So it might make it look like somebody, but it could be somebody else entirely, or it'll just be like an amalgamation of like we don't know who it is.
Yeah. So who do you You said it earlier. Who do you think it is?
Okay, so before we get into that, Loki is still trying to figure out where to get a pruning stick.
What'd you think about the phone ring?
I don't know. It reminded me
of Matrix?
Yes.
So I was like, is he supposed to answer the phone? Dude, is he gonna be talking to himself in the past? Like, I was like, what's gonna happen?
I was like, he's just gonna and like disappear into the phone now. Like, what the heck?
Turn green, all green numbers and digitized. Like
I was like, when did we become a digital code in this one now? First we're timeline, now we're digital codes.
I was really curious as to who was on that other line, bro. Like, I really was curious. So then her hands like made me laugh too, like how she opened up the door. I was like, how is she opening this door? Like, that's some terrible grip right there. Like, come on, Sylvie. But she saw him and recognized him.
Yeah.
So it had, again, where in that line is she coming from? Like, is she coming from just now facing homie, or did she go somewhere else and then came back? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
well, see, here's the thing. Like, for me, because this is the ending of the episode, guys, and so Loki's trying to find the pruning stick because he has a limited amount of time now on his thing to.
It already happened. Turn green.
Yeah, and so he's trying to find something, but he hears the phone ring, and for some reason he slows down for the phone ring, walks over there.
Oh yes,
I was like, why do you walk now?
Why are we going so slow right now?
Dude, I'm like, you just killed.
Bree was in the same way. She's like, really, take your time now. Just take your time.
No, what I did appreciate, I don't know if you caught it because I was like legit like checking the time. When Obi was counting down the time, he's like, you got 30 seconds before I close the blast doors. I was watching the time, and right around like 23 or the 27 seconds, it was like spot on. He was like 3, but then he's like 3.
He did say three times.
Yeah.
Damn.
And I was like, okay, so that's the third. Like, it legit was 30 seconds filming and in the thing. I was like, I appreciate that. I just like the way
it wasn't like Fast 10 or whatever, where that long airplane strip. Like, all right, how long are we on this airline strip? Like,
he's like, I can think this is against regulation, guys. No, but it was like 30 seconds. Like, that's what I appreciate. But yeah, he goes super slow on to the phone, and then he sees Sylvie, and she's like, oh, there you are. And right when she says that, he gets pruned. And it allows Mobius, because Mobius is going back inside at this point, because the blast doors are closing, and he's like, I can't wait here, otherwise he'll die, his skin will get peeled off, and then he's not gonna make it. Yeah.
That's how he says, oh, dude, it was a build-up. It really was a
build-up. And then
he
sees Loki coming out, and then Loki crashes into him, and they both make it into the doors and everything. And I think that was the end, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that was the end. And then if any of y'all stick around for end credit scenes,
spoilers,
all kinds of spoilers now. We see Sylvie go into 1982. What was this thing?
Braxton, Oklahoma, or something. Yeah. Broxton, or something.
Broxton, I believe it was, Oklahoma.
Branch timeline.
And it says on the thing, it says branch timeline. So now we might be getting those into the episodes, and I'm pretty excited about that.
I really hope so too. Like, I'm down to see what happens as far as in those branch timelines that now exist that are not being pruned.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So far we have a mimicry of McDonald's right now. So it said a McDouble. I think it said McFry or something like that. So it's its own timeline branched. So it may not be McDonald's, but it's something of the sort.
I'm pretty sure it's McDonald's. I didn't hear any McFries or something.
Did he say McDonald's?
Yeah. I don't know. It might be, because I do remember that stupid tree. That wasn't the tree on the decorations in the McDonald's. It was like actually a McDonald's decoration back in the day.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
I gotta look that up. The like safari tree looking thing.
Yeah, the face. Yeah, that was actually a thing. But then he's like, "Oh, would you try? You want to try our new McNuggets?" And that's when I was like, when did they come out? And
you actually looked it up?
Yeah, they came out 1981.
Wow.
So technically, it is new. We don't know the date.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is brand new. But yeah, he was like, "Oh, we have a Big Mac," and he starts going on, and then she's like looking at everybody, and she's like, "I want to try it all." And it was just like, this is the first time she's ever been free for herself and everything. So it just like a cool callback, like she's like, I could relax finally, But now that goes into who pruned Loki. My original thought was when she's like, there you are, and in the TVA when she finds him in the like she's opening the elevator. My original thought is Loki somehow time slipped, met her in the past, told her what's going on, and somehow or another they both ended up where Loki needed to be pruned, and then Loki himself pruned himself from the present.
Jesus, that's your theories?
That was my theory, but it could be completely wrong.
Goodness. So you think he slipped, told Sylvie in the past, slipped back into the future, ended up right there where they needed to be in the elevator, but another self of him was there
Himself to make sure that he got to where he needed to be.
That's interesting, bro. I didn't think of it like that. I thought, again, I don't know who it would have been, but definitely not would have thought it would have been himself.
You know, like, it's funny because a lot of people are like, how are people's memory getting wiped and everything, right? Like, that's a big question. And I didn't look anything up, but I was just like scrolling through stuff, and somebody's like, don't eat the key lime pie. And the key lime pie is always in the TVA stuff, so I'm thinking that's a theory where they're like, the key lime pie is the memory wipe thing. But I'm like, I don't think so.
You don't think,
I'm like,
I think it's more powerful. Just more powerful than that. Just wipe, done. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think he would want to remember to make key lime pie.
Yeah. I was just like, for me, it's just like, the key lime pie is a convenient thing where they're like, oh yeah, we're hungry, just eat it. It's always in the cafeteria. I'm like, yeah, but I'm like, how do you make sure they don't, like, what if they go a day or two without eating the damn key lime pie? Now they remember everything? I'm like, I don't feel like that's a convenient way of doing it.
He would have to mind control them to eat key lime pie every day. And if he's mind controlling them to eat the key lime pie every day, might as well.
You might as well just
wipe them.
Yeah. I'm like, you might as well just
etch a sketch it out. Done. You get out of here. Like
it ain't worth it. Just get rid of them.
So I hope, and it was good to have that freaking. That cutaway scene that, you know, at the very end, you know what I mean? Yeah. Again, like, it felt good. A tie back, because I think all of them, I stayed for every single one. The only one was what? WandaVision?
For what?
That had the bonus scene at the very end?
Yeah.
Right? That's the only one out of them all?
I think so, because I know, didn't Loki have a end one? The first season?
Yes.
Yeah, the first season, WandaVision.
I think all of them had it on the last episode.
Yeah.
Because then it had homegirl recruiting, U.S. agent.
Yeah.
So they recruited him at the end of that show. Then what happened at the end of Black Widow? Echo, I believe, or something like that. Nonetheless, it was the first one to have its ending credit scene. On the first episode.
Yeah.
So I was just like, yeah.
I'm hoping they do that for every episode, though.
Yeah, that'd be dope. That'll be dope. Good. Because we were getting so little episodes, it would be a good just, okay, cool, this is what's happening in the background of what was just happening. You know what I mean? So but I agree 100%. Let me see how long we are.
We about to cut it right now, man.
I think it is
110.
110?
Yeah.
Alrighty, guys. Well, we did not get to the season finale of One Punch, but it may be some time. So again, if you haven't watched it yourselves, go tune into it. It's an awesome show. I enjoy it. I've already watched it twice to take notes for the show, and again, just out of enjoyment. So definitely watch it. If we don't get to those notes, we will get to them. Hopefully y'all tune into that. It's a good anime, One Punch Man. But from I guess right now till 6 weeks. Yeah. How many episodes? 6, right?
As far as we know, it might be 6.
6. So 6 weeks of Loki. We'll be covering Loki, and then any news that we will bring to y'all. And if we do go fast through them, then for sure we'll hit that One Punch. But
I think after the 6 weeks, it might be Miss Marvel. So then after that,
okay, we'll sneak it in. We will sneak it in. God dang it, we'll make sure an episode we'll put it in there. So, but again, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed it. Again, tune in. Y'all have any news or whatever? Yeah. So keep in again. Twitch. Thank you again, you followers. Thank you for the comment. Good show. Thank y'all again for tuning in after such a long hiatus. So if you're watching this on YouTube, we again, been out for quite a while from the Twitch side. Yep. But we're now, streaming back on there. and I hope we got this bug worked out. So again, thank y'all guys. Y'all have a good week. We'll see y'all next week on the Hydeout.
Later, guys.